Hello and welcome to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neal Howard, with Robert Weiss. Thanks to online technology, the once very clear line between fidelity and cheating has become kind of blurred. So as one spouse fools around online in ways that they think are within, the bounds of monogamy, their partner disagrees and feels cheated. Welcome, Robert Weiss, to Health Professional Radio. Hello, Robert.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, glad that you're here today. You're the author of a book. It's called Out of the Doghouse, a step-by-step relationship saving guide for men caught cheating. Talk about this book. Who's your audience? I mean, that's an intriguing title.
Well, thanks, Neil, for having me on. And I just want to say to all the guys in the audience, this is not an anti-guy rant. Just want to let you know that my goal here is to help men heal their relationships. And my work over the past 25 years has been working with profound infidelity and cheating. That's really the nature of the work I do. And like you said, I've watched the rise of the digital age and how that's affected that. And we certainly should answer some questions about that. But now, the reason I wrote the book was, go ahead, I'm sorry. I was going to say, I don't think that men really know how to gain forgiveness and heal their relationships when they've committed infidelity. And I want to give them a heads up.
You said profound infidelity and cheating. Is there something that's less profound in the cheating arena?
Well, I work, a big part of my therapy work is in the field of sex addiction and compulsive sexual behavior and problems that people have with internet porn and all that.
Okay.
So while that I would say is more extreme, because I see people have hundreds of partners or 8 or 12 affairs or spending 3 hours a night looking at porn 5 nights a week. So that kind of behavior is very different than I went and had a lap dance in Vegas on a bachelor party. In the moment, the spouse receiving it is going to feel the same way for a moment, but they're going to be very relieved to find that it was once or twice or 3 times versus many of the people I treat who have long histories of cheating and acting out.
So basically, the audience for your book is widespread.
Well, thank you for saying that. I just figured, who knows more about cheating than me? I've spent 25 years working with couples who are in absolute misery, trying to figure out how to heal their relationships. And I've learned some basics that are so applicable to every family and couple I've worked with who are experiencing this that I thought, well, maybe it'd be worth writing these down, and especially for angry women. This is a book for an angry woman who feels wounded to read and say, and throw at her man and say, you want to get it back with me? You figure this out.
Okay. So are we talking about, you mentioned several things. You mentioned several partners or several affairs or internet porn and things of that nature. What is actual cheating, hooking up in the hotel the same as viewing porn online as far as the spouse is concerned, whether male or female? Well,
certainly any physical activity with another person is going to be, I don't think that you're in the relationships we're talking about, I don't think your wife or your woman would say, oh, honey, you can go ahead and hook up on an app. It's just I don't want you to have an affair. So if you've had physical contact with somebody and your spouse doesn't know about it, and if you don't have that agreement in your relationship, it's going to be a problem. But so is porn. And, it goes to your question, is porn cheating in the digital age? And I think that's a fascinating question. Back in the old days, if I picked up a Playboy or, I could just say, oh, honey, I'm just looking at a Playboy, or, maybe I hid it under the bed. Or maybe my dad hid them under the bed. But now, I think cheating is more about the relationship. In other words, if you know that I look at porn occasionally, it's not a big deal for me, and you do it too, and hey, it's just a giggle and a hoot, and we still have a wonderful, intimate life as a couple, no harm, no foul. And if you're married to me and you walk in my office or den and you see some porn on the computer and we have that understanding, you're going to say, oops, that's his stuff. That's a little embarrassing. I'm sorry, I looked at that. You might be curious, but that's about it. But if I am viewing porn 3 or 4 days a week and we don't have the greatest intimate life and you're telling me you feel this distance, and then you go to the computer and you find all these images and you had no idea I looked at porn, you're going to be pissed. And so to me, infidelity in the digital age has more to do with the keeping of profound secrets in an intimate relationship than it does with any particular act, secrecy.
About secrecy. Well, who does it more, men or women, or is it relatively even now that we're in a different age, the digital age?
Well, women have always acted out sexually and had all kinds of sexual things going on that were not as talked about or discussed as men, because our culture doesn't like to see women as being very sexual at all. I mean, what do you call a guy who's having a lot of sex? He's a player, right? But what do you call a woman who's having a lot of sex?
Huh.
Not such nice names. So culturally, we don't like to think about women being sexual at all, except with us, if we're a male. But the reality is that, women are out there doing a lot of the same things guys do. But healthy women tend to want some kind of relationship feeling or emotional connection or a sense of safety before they go off with someone and have sex with them. And men often don't really care. We're more interested in the booty than we are in, whether they like us or not. Hence the difference, Mars and Venus.
I heard once someone say, well, it's not like all the cheating guys are cheating with themselves. They're cheating with women who know that they cheat or are cheating themselves, which is why I asked, was it relatively even across the board? I mean, it takes two to tango.
Well, I think the question is more, who is more successful at cheating? And I would say, in my case, in the case of what I'm writing about, and I would say women, because women we hear less about, we hear far more less drama about. If women cheat as much as men, and I'm not sure they do. In fact, the statistics say they don't cheat as much as they. In other words, I might be a cheating male, but I'm having sex with a single woman. So she may be participating in my cheating, but she's not cheating. And she likes me, and she thinks I'm nice, and she really believes I'm going to leave my spouse someday. Ha, 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 ha.
Secrecy, again, being the key.
Well, the secrecy is the key simply because of this. If you are married to someone or in a committed relationship to a woman, and you tell her that you are absolutely going to do this, and then 5 years later she finds out you've been doing that, she's going to be pissed. And not just because you told her you were doing this and you went and did that, it's because you lied to her. And for women who think much more holistically than men do, when a guy goes to Vegas and has a lap dance at a bachelor party, he's thinking, oh, this is kind of fun. I'm fun with my friends. It's kind of like a good workout. And what my wife doesn't know won't hurt, or a girlfriend or whatever. But when he goes home, if she finds out about it, she's going to say stuff like, I thought you loved me. What about our kids? What about our family? What about everything we've ever had together? And hence you have Venus and Mars, where, a man can look not necessarily has to act on, but men can look at casual sex or at being not particularly a big deal, and a woman will absolutely see it as being a big deal.
Well, let's talk about this relationship healing book, the step-by-step relationship saving guide, Out of the Doghouse.
Actually, this book came out of a lecture that a lot of books I write, I've written 8 of them in the field of sex, relationships, intimacy, and addiction. And this one came out of a lecture where I literally, because I do provide treatment. I provide treatment at a place called The Ranch in Tennessee, and I provide treatment for sex and intimacy disorders. And so what I had noticed in the men's program, and yes, we have a women's program for intimacy and sexual disorders, so it's not just guys. But I noticed that the men overall, over the past, 25 years I've been doing this work, really don't seem to understand what it takes to help a woman feel better about their relationship. Men know candy, men know flowers, men know vacations and jewelry, men know, honey, are you going to go over this? Or can you just tone it down a bit? Or aren't you going to give me a break? Or, stuff like that. And they really know, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry, but, what I really mean is I'm sorry. But those aren't the things that heal the wound of betrayal. And what I wanted men to understand is what actually happens to a woman emotionally when she feels that she's been betrayed, and then what it takes to heal betrayal, which is a pretty specific set of steps that don't involve candy and flowers.
Where can our listeners get a copy of this book, Out of the Doghouse?
Well, Out of the Doghouse is on Amazon or anywhere. I mean, Amazon, Out of Doghouse is everywhere. You can find it pretty much anywhere. I don't know about your local bookstore, but certainly everywhere online. Are there any local bookstores left? I don't know. But in any case, online. And, I would say any woman who has a girlfriend who says her man is cheating on her, buy it for her. It'll be the best gift you ever gave her.
And your website, where they can get
it's my name, robertweissmsw.com, and you'll find lots of stuff on sex and addiction and infidelity and cheating and all the stuff I write about.
Great. Well, I'm hoping that you'll come back and speak some more with us about sexual addiction, pornography, especially in the digital age. You've been listening to Health Professional Radio. Thanks so much for coming in today, Robert.
My pleasure. Thanks, Neal.
Transcripts and audio of this program are available at healthprofessionalradio.com.au and also at hpr.fm, and you can subscribe to this podcast on iTunes. Additionally, you can listen in on SoundCloud. I'm your host, Neal Howard.